The tale I tell tonight is perhaps the most important of all. The Great War is finished, the last terror has been buried beneath the earth, and Zeus sits upon his throne with lightning still crackling around his fingers. Victory tastes sweet in the mouths of the gods, but here's what they're only beginning to understand. Winning a war and keeping the peace are two entirely different battles. Picture Olympus in those early days after triumph. The marble gleams white as fresh snow, the golden halls echo with laughter, and for the first time in cosmic memory, the gods can rest without fear. Zeus looks out over creation and sees a world finally free from the shadow of the old order. But as the celebration fades and the reality of rulership settles in, a troubling question begins to whisper through those perfect halls. Now what? You see, it's one thing to tear down the old throne, quite another to build something lasting in its place. The young gods had spent their entire existence fighting for survival, plotting revolution, learning the arts of war, but governing, creating a structure that could endure, that was uncharted territory, and Zeus knew it. So the king of the gods does what wise leaders do when facing impossible decisions. He calls his family together. Not for battle this time, not for desperate planning in hidden caves, but for the most delicate negotiation in cosmic history. Picture them gathered in Zeus's great hall, these divine siblings who had shared the bitter bread of exile and the sweet wine of victory. Hestia with her gentle wisdom, Demeter carrying the earth's fertility in her very presence, Hera radiating the dignity of divine queenship, Poseidon with ocean storms still dancing in his eyes, and Hades, quiet as always, shadows pooling at his feet like faithful hounds. The air itself seems to hold its breath as Zeus speaks. The cosmos stretches before them, infinite and unmapped, waiting for divine hands to shape its destiny. But who should rule what? How do you divide infinity among equals? How do you stop the jealousy that had torn apart every previous generation? Zeus knew that fairness had to be not just real but visible. These weren't conquered enemies to be parceled out like spoils. These were his brothers and sisters, his companions in exile, his fellow warriors who had stood beside him when the heavens cracked. The solution, when it comes, is elegantly simple. They will let fate itself decide. 3 lots, 3 brothers, 3 realms that together encompass all of creation. The first lot will claim the bright heavens above, domain of storms and stars, and the overarching sky that watches over everything. The second will rule the wine-dark seas, those restless waters that circle the earth and hide mysteries in their depths. The third will inherit the shadowed realm below, where the dead find their final rest and the earth's hidden treasures lie buried. Watch Zeus as his hand reaches into that urn, his fingers closing around destiny itself. There's no thunder rumbling, no divine fanfare, just 3 pieces of marked stone that will reshape the cosmos forever. When he draws the lot marked with the sign of the heavens, something settles in the divine order like a key turning in a lock. The sky acknowledges its master, and Zeus becomes not just the victor of war, but the rightful king of the upper air. Poseidon reaches next, and when his lot reveals the symbol of the endless seas, you can almost hear the waves responding to their new lord. Every ocean, every river, every drop of water that falls from the clouds will answer to his call. And some say the earth-shaker power followed him too, because the sea is never far from the trembling bones of the world. That leaves Hades, drawing the final lot with the same quiet dignity he's shown through every crisis. The realm below falls to him, that vast kingdom where mortal souls journey when their earthly days are done. Some might call it the darkest share, but Hades understands what his brothers do not yet grasp. He will rule over more subjects than both of them combined, for all mortals must eventually pass through his gates. But here is the crucial detail, the one meant to keep the peace from cracking into another war. The common earth, the solid ground where mortals build their homes and plant their crops, belongs to all three brothers equally. No single god may claim it alone. It becomes both blessing and curse, a bond when the brothers cooperate, and a spark when their wills collide. Now let me paint for you what each realm truly means. For these aren't merely territories, they are worlds with their own character. Zeus claims the heavens, and what a domain that is. Picture standing on the highest peak and looking up into endless blue, knowing every cloud crossing that vast expanse obeys your will. The air itself responds to his moods, gentle breezes when he is calm, howling gales when his temper rises, and those magnificent storms when divine authority must be felt by all who live below. He becomes keeper of sky and lightning, but also the voice of order when disputes threaten to spread like fire. Poseidon inherits the seas, wild, unpredictable, never still. Imagine standing at the ocean's edge and knowing every wave, from the gentlest lap to the towering wall that swallows ships, moves at your command. Sailors learn to pray before they sail because the sea does not forgive arrogance. His kingdom is freedom and danger braided together, beautiful and merciless in the same breath. And Hades receives the realm beneath all realms. Not merely a place of punishment, but the vast underworld where every soul must eventually arrive, and where riches sleep in darkness, gold and silver, gems and buried strength, seeds waiting beneath winter soil. His is a kingdom of stillness and certainty, where rules do not bend simply because a storm is angry or a wave is proud. The ceremony ends, the lots are cast, the borders are named, and yet the tension does not vanish. It simply changes shape. Because their realms are not truly separate, they touch, they overlap, they bleed into one another like colors in the same sky. When mortals pray for rain, they call to Zeus, but the water falls into Poseidon's seas and sinks down into Hades' deep places. When earthquakes shake the world, is it Poseidon testing his strength or something stirring in the buried kingdom below? When lightning strikes the sea, is it judgment or a message between brothers who rule neighboring worlds? So the cosmos gains a structure, yes, but also a new kind of danger. Not the open violence of titans and monsters, but the slow simmering strain of power shared among family. The world is divided, the thrones are claimed, and the gods must now learn what mortals learn the hard way. Having boundaries is one thing, living with them is another.